Story by you/andychamomile. This happened about 8 years ago when I was in university. I had to leave in the middle of a lecture because I had to pee. The hallways were empty and the closest women's bathroom was in the next building. This bathroom was extremely old and kind of dingy, and as I approached the building, I clearly see 2 other girls rushing into the bathroom. One of them was wearing a pink dress, and the other had jeans and a white shirt. I remember this clearly because I really had to pee and knew that this bathroom only had 3 tiny stalls. So I was hoping that there was nobody else inside there. I run the rest of the way and see that 2 of the stalls are occupied and the one on the left corner is empty. As I do my business, I hear the girl from the stall in the other corner curse and cry out that she got her period and doesn't have a tampon with her. She asked if any of us had any pads or tampons that she could use. And since I booked it out of class, I left all of my stuff at my desk and only took my cell phone and wallet. I tell her that I don't have anything, but perhaps the girl in the center stall might have something. I can clearly see her jeans and light brown Mary Jane shoes on the floor, because these stall walls didn't go all the way down. She's tapping her feet on the floor, but she doesn't say anything. The other girl clearly sees her too and begs her to please help her out. But there's no response. The period girl starts getting pissed and rants that women should help each other out, and if the girl in the middle stall doesn't have anything, she can just say so. Then at this point, I am done with my business, and the period girl resorts to using toilet paper. I come out first, and my heart drops as I notice that the middle stall door is partly open. Something is definitely off. I'm feeling goosebumps, and I gently push the door open, and nobody is there. I tell the other girl that the stall is empty. She curses some more, comes out of her stall and freezes. When she sees for herself, she tells me, "What the fuck? I literally walked into the bathroom with this girl at the same time. I even held the door open for her. She was tapping her feet a few seconds ago." We looked at each other, completely spooked at the empty toilet staring back at us. Everything felt horribly off. We confirmed that we both had seen her. Brunette, white shirt, jeans, and Mary Janes. We were not crazy. We washed our hands in silence and rushed outside. It immediately felt like we walked into another world. We both felt so much better. The sun was shining. It was like nothing had happened at all. And we chatted about never using that bathroom again. We said our goodbyes and then went back to class. This was such a weird experience, and I truly never went to that bathroom again. I've thought about ways to explain what happened. Was it a ghost? How could a person that seemed so real just vanish? Part of me has always wondered if this was something like 2 parallel dimensions merging for just a brief moment. Maybe in the other dimension, the girl with the Mary Janes came out of the stall, and we were the ones who mysteriously vanished instead. Story by you/Eutyhi. To somewhat preface this story, I want to start by saying that I have had a few small glitches prior to this one. Usually, I was able to explain the missing remote or phones that would reappear in obvious locations as just being overlooked. That ability to explain of these phenomena as a coincidence would suddenly change. At this point, I had been a mailman in my hometown for a little over 4 years. As anyone who comes into the post office may know that when you first start out, you're usually stuck on least desirable routes. On and off for that time, I was typically on the route where this glitch occurred. and I had been familiar with most of the residents. At the start of the route, and like clockwork, I would pass by an elderly lady walking her dog. She was of average height, skinny with short white hair, and her dog, whom also looked older, was a small beagle who wore a little pink collar. Every morning as I delivered this street's mail, she would walk her dog without even slightly acknowledging me. Weeks went by where I would wave or smile as I rode past, but she never returned the gesture. I would just ride past her somewhere along the sidewalk, and when I got to her house to drop off her mail, grab her outgoing, and usually place her package of presumably medicine on the porch. One day, as I am headed to the start of the street, I can see her again walking her dog. I'll call her Miss Smith. As I got closer though, something seemed kind of off. Her pace was slightly faster, and her entire stride seemed more energetic. When I came down to the other side of the street that she was coming up, she called out to me. She said, "Hey, mailman, if you have any mail for me, I'll go ahead and take it." She said all of this, waving and smiling. The dog and the collar was the same, but this wasn't Miss Smith. She was slightly taller, with much longer gray hair and glasses. Taken a bit back, she again confirmed that she would get the mail for 1245. And as I rode off, I thought it was strange because I knew Miss Smith lived alone. Only her car was in the yard, only her name was on the mail, and any time I left any other name of mail in her box, she kindly wrote return to sender on it. I completely chalked it up to her being a relative or caretaker and thought no more about it. That was until this new lady was there every morning. Again, like clockwork, for the next few days I was greeted with smiles, waves, exclamations about the beautiful weather, all while she was walking her dog. Then one morning, she had medicine to sign for. I was running behind on the route and didn't see her walking down the sidewalk, so I knocked on her door. The skinnier white-haired lady didn't answer. It was the same grayish-haired lady that I had been talking to for the past week answered. I said hello and that I had a package for Miss Smith to sign for, and was she home? She chuckled and said, "I'm Miss Smith," and thanked me for always getting her outgoing mail. I was stunned. This wasn't the lady that was always there in the beginning. I asked her where the other white-haired lady was, and she asked who. I said the other lady that I used to see walk your dog. She looked confused and confirmed that she lived alone and that other than her middle-aged son, she didn't have any visitors. Again, confused, I just took it for mistaken identity, maybe a neighbor or friend. Then, the very next day, as I started my route, right along the sidewalk, was a little old lady. She was of average height, skinny with short white hair. She didn't have glasses, and she was walking a little gray-haired beagle with a pink collar. As I rode past and waved, she never looked up. She didn't smile, she didn't ask for the mail, and she didn't tell me how nice the weather was. And I pulled into an adjacent parking lot and watched her for the next 5 minutes walk down the sidewalk, and then into 1245 and shut the door. Every day for the next 5 months, I was on the route and I never saw the gray-haired lady again. Whoever the vibrate lady was at 1245 during that week, before I realized and asked questions, it wasn't her. It wasn't the Miss Smith. Story by Biciklici. So this happened this evening, and I'm still kinda shook up. Anyways, I left from my job, and I always go by foot because it's just a 15-minute walk. I walk down the hill, go through a small park, which is just a 5-minute trip through it, and I'm a small block away from my building. Today, I went into the park and I just had the feeling that I had to check the time, which I did, and it was around 7:15. I walked through the park and nothing happened, and when I exited the park, I got a message from my roommate that said, "Hey, what's taking you so long? Are you okay?" I was so confused because I left the job on time and it was all okay, And then I looked at the clock. It was 8:15. I was so scared, and I am still scared because I really don't know what happened. I literally just walked normally through the park. I didn't see people or animals or anything, and I didn't stop or sit down or anything. The park is right next to the big avenue, and I could see the cars all the time. I wasn't secluded anywhere. I'm wondering if any of you guys experience the same similar thing. Do you have any explanation? Story by you/BoobaFat13. So I'll be honest, when people say their items duplicated, I don't really take it 100%. Most people aren't even posting any pictures of the said items either. However, I just pulled 2 of the same bra top out of my laundry basket, and I only bought 1. I've only had 1. I've only been able to wear 1 every laundry rotation. I wasn't accidentally sent 2 by the company when I ordered them. I would remember something cool like that happening and getting a freebie. Unless I really just didn't notice that I got 2 of them. However, more explanation about why I doubt this due to the tags below. My only other explanation for this is my partner is cheating on me with someone who left the exact same bra in the exact same size and put it in my laundry basket, which isn't out of the realm of possibility, but also unlikely that it would be the same exact bra and size. So, the picture of the bras where they are on the floor is what I just pulled from my laundry. I even screenshotted my order from my email because I went to see if I forgot that I bought 2 for some reason. But nope, just 1. I even put the screenshot of the picture from the website so you could see it better. Now, the crazy part is the tag. One of the bras has the torrid curve tag part cut off. If I cut off a tag from my clothes, all of them go, and not just 1. So I would never have cut off just 1 and left the rest. The one I am considering as my bra is the one with the little plastic on the tag part. I do this a lot because I'm lazy, and sometimes I don't break the plastic when I pull the price tag off, so I just left it. Now, who is missing a bra that we both own in the same size, and you cut off just 1 tag? Story by you/Yugatro. So this happened a few years ago. I was driving back from college, and I live in the Fenlands in the UK, and anyone who knows the Fenlands knows roads are limited. I was driving towards Ellie at the sudden roundabout. I live in the countryside, and there was really only one way to get to my house from where I was coming from, and it was the way that I was going. It was a rush hour, and I was stuck in slow-moving traffic. I was looking at the other side of the road and spotted my dad's car driving in the opposite direction. His car was a bright blue Citroën Picasso. He got it when they first came out, and there weren't many of these cars in the area, so it did catch my eye. Not to mention that his number plate ended with HAHA. I looked at the number plate first, and there it was, XXX HAHA. Surprised, I looked up, and there they were, my parents. Both looked really angry. I waved to get their attention, wondering what was wrong. But they didn't look. They just carried on looking straight forward. I was a bit concerned with how angry they looked and the fact that they didn't notice that I was sitting only a few cars in front of them. Not to mention, I was easy to spot. I had a bright orange Corsa at that time, not hard to miss and a very rare color for any car. So usually, people who knew me noticed my car before I saw them. I couldn't really stop. The traffic was moving and I couldn't turn around. As I said, the road was packed and there were no safe places to pull over. From my direction, I was about 10 minutes from home, so I thought it would be best to carry on home than ring Mom's phone as she wasn't driving to see what was wrong. I sort of raced home once I got off the main road and onto the back lanes. We had quite a long winding drive with huge bushes on either side, so you couldn't really see our drive or the house from the angle of the road. And as I drove up the drive, I was shocked to see my dad's car sitting front and center of the drive, in its usual place. Confused, I parked up and ran into the house to find my dad and Mom sitting in the living room. I asked them what was wrong, forgetting there was no way that they got home first. They both looked perplexed and said nothing. I asked how they got home before me, and they said that they hadn't left the house all day. Dad hadn't been well, so they were relaxing all day watching TV. I still wonder what I saw. It was their car, same number plate. Mom was even wearing her distinctive raincoat. And even if they were pulling a prank on me, there was no way they would have gotten home before me, because there is no road that they could have slipped down to beat me to the house. Story by U/ZigzagX3. Not long after the first COVID lockdown started, I was talking to one of my best friends, Kay, about movies on Netflix and Prime worth checking out. For context, I literally only had 3 friends who I talked to at that time. The only other people I talked to were my doctor, which is a 15-minute phone call every 2 months, and random texts to and from my mom. I never do phone calls unless it's an emergency. Kay was the only person that I visited and spoke to in person for months during the initial lockdown. Anyways, he asked me if I'd seen the Mandela Effect, and I told him that I hadn't, and asked what it was about. He then asked if I knew what the actual Mandela Effect was, and I told him no, I didn't. Kay went into great detail, as he always does, explaining the phenomenon to me, where the name came from, along with at least 20 or 30 examples, like the Berenstain Bears and the Monopoly Man. After his super thorough psych lecture, he told me about the movie The Mandela Effect. He gave me the whole setup and went on and on about how I should really watch it. A couple weeks later, I turned it on, and it was absolutely 100% just as good as he said it was. I was so excited, I texted my other 2 friends to tell them about the movie, and I even told them about how Kay had recommended it to me, and I explained what the Mandela Effect was in the same way Kay explained it to me, and they enjoyed it too when they watched it. Fast forward to early fall, I was visiting Kay and his family, and his mom asked for a movie suggestion. I asked if Kay had already made them watch The Mandela Effect, and turns out he hadn't. Again, I went in depth about the actual phenomena the movie was named after, told them all about how Kay explained it all to me, and made me watch it, and I made my 2 other friends watch it, and etc. Kay woke up from a nap shortly after she started the movie, came into the living room, and started making fun of the movie we chose because it looked really dumb, and asked what it was. To cut to the chase, he had never even heard of the movie, and he didn't even have a firm grasp on what the Mandela effect really was. I argued with him for 10 minutes about whether or not he'd told me about it, and I went over our entire conversation I vividly remember having in his room. I ended up teaching him some examples that he'd never heard of, things that he himself taught me. Have you ever met somebody way too smart to act dumb? Well, that's him. I'm sure you think that he was probably just messing with me, but I can assure you with 100% confidence that he absolutely wasn't. This man cannot lie. He also cannot miss an opportunity to take credit for something he did, especially when it comes to making a bomb-ass movie suggestion or educating someone or something that he knows more about. And if he were to have somehow made it that far into his prank, which has never happened before, as I said, he can't lie, and I'm a human lie detector. He most certainly would not miss the opportunity to start laughing at me and make it very known that he pulled one over on me. I know you don't know either of us, but this really wasn't a prank, and I really have a full and vivid memory of the entire Mandela effect conversation. We still both think the other one is batshit. And about an hour later, the full irony of what happened hit him, and he finally got the opportunity to poke fun at me. I still have no idea how or what happened. Oh, and I specifically remember it being called the Mandela effect, both when he told me about it and when I watched the movie. How? Is this a glitch in the Matrix? Does this count? Story by You/The Arachne Kid. I worked at a dog daycare/boarding facility, and I've worked with Nikki and William. For weird company rules about social media, the names have been changed. They are two mini German Shepherds, not mixed breeds, but German Shepherd dogs with weird traits. They are both over 1.5 years old and have full German Shepherd traits. One is just darker, with mildly different facial features, but haven't gotten more than 45 pounds. Nikki has always been afraid of men, and William always loves their daycare guide. 2 days ago, both showed nothing but love. Nikki was like a whole new dog, yet weirdly similar to William. The problem was when they both answered to each other's name, until I went on break. I told a few co-workers, and before I could light a cigarette, Nikki's mom pulls in, and I tell her how great she did that day. I re-enter the lobby, and she has the dog that had answered as William all day. Everyone and the pet profile showed it was Nikki. And all of a sudden, Nikki was submissive and avoidant towards me, as she was known for in the past. I hadn't even smoked the cigarette I wanted. I was only out there because I wanted to see the dog go at that point. The dog who had jumped up in excitement all day to the name Nikki was now answering to William. It all seemed so seamless, but when I started paying attention to those things, it made me seem weird or confused to my co-workers. Then, when I look at the computer, I am apparently wrong. I spend roughly 30 hours with these particular dogs per week. I thought I had made huge steps with Nikki, not fearing me, after she started seeing us over 3 months ago. But today, she switched dogs and no one else noticed, including the owner. I spent a night or so wondering if I should worry. Then today, I got bit by a dog that I know very well during a scuffle with another dog in the room, that I also know and care for regularly, just 22 minutes into my shift. Story by u/shabsxd. Okay, this happened 2 days ago, and no one in my friend group can help me figure out a logical explanation. I work in a building with a bunch of different business offices. We share a communal restroom outside in the common area, and we can only get in with a key, and only employees from various offices have keys. I was walking to the women's restroom, and another lady was already ahead of me going towards the restroom too. She had on a business attire and black pointy heels. She opens the women's restroom door and pushes it open so I can grab the door before it closes. I say thanks, and she's still ahead of me. Now, the restroom only had 3 bathroom stalls, 2 small ones and 1 large stall on the far right. I see her go into the middle stall, and I stand for a second and decide just to take the other small stall on the far left. So now, the only stall available is a large stall on the far right. These stall doors and walls don't reach all the way up to the floor, so you can see the feet of people next to you and walking past your stall. Hopefully this makes sense to you. I sit down and see the lady's black heels next to me. They were like a particularly older style, so they just stood out to me. I don't know, I was just aware of what they looked like. She was already in the middle of her bathroom business, and I turned to the other side to grab some toilet paper. And I hear someone else enter the restroom, and I see brown heels walk across from in front my restroom door. I see this pair of brown heels walk into the stall next to me, right where I had just seen black heels literally moments ago. And it really caught me off guard. I thought that maybe 2 people were having a meeting in the restroom, if you know what I mean. But no, I only see the brown heels now, and I am super confused because this was happening in a matter of seconds. So I finish up super quick, and when I step outside, I see that both the small and large stalls are occupied. I bend down and see a black pair of heels in the large stall and the brown pair in the stall next to me. And now, I am panicked because I know for a fact that the black pair were in the stall next to me, and this wasn't like minutes long. This was moments. The lady who had on the black pair of heels was like peeing when the other lady walked in, so I don't understand how she suddenly flew into the large stall. I stood in the sink area for a second and was contemplating maybe asking these women what kind of prank they were pulling, but I already felt crazy, so I didn't want to scare the 2 random women with what I just saw. I also had this weird odd sensation that I saw something that I wasn't supposed to. The only way I can explain the feeling is like when you get caught doing something wrong. I had goosebumps, and I honestly felt like something dropped to the pit of my stomach. Now, before people say, maybe she was out of toilet paper, these restrooms get stocked every morning, and I don't think that I've ever seen a stall run out of toilet paper in the last 5 years that I've worked in this complex. Another explanation I've heard is, maybe you just didn't notice her change stalls. Which could be the case if she wasn't the first to enter the stalls. She was already in the middle of her business by the time that I sat down and situated myself. Again, all this happened in the matter of moments. The brown heels walked in seconds after we had entered our stalls. So yeah, I can't explain it. I don't know what I saw, and I was fully aware and conscious of my surroundings. I didn't even have my phone on me, so it's not like I was distracted. And I had slept enough, had my coffee, and I know it sounds crazy, but that's why I'm sharing the story here. Hello everyone, it's your creepy sister here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate each and every one of you. But I would also like to thank my amazing patrons, my top tippers, And my dearest channel members, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it with all of my heart. If you want to support the channel further, you could also choose to become a patron, a tipper, or a channel member. But remember, it's appreciated, but never a requirement. I would also like to announce that we have merch now. The link is in the description of the video, along with all my other social media links, like my Discord server, Twitter, Instagram, and others. You can connect with me and send your stories there. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and comments are highly appreciated. And remember, your fear feeds me.